Hi there guys, it's Aaron here from Mirror Gaming, excited to bring you my preview impressions for a little game called Dragon's Dogma 2. Yes, after 10 years, Capcom has finally decided that there's not enough fantasy RPGs out there to play, so it's bringing back its beloved cult classic. Here's what I thought with my hands-on time. Dragon's Dogma 2 probably has the best shield bash in any action RPG I've ever played. True, the game isn't out yet, and a lot of things could change between now and its full release, but I already know this to be true from the hour and a half I recently spent with a preview build. Scouring the open world grasslands with a party of pawns, coming across giant monsters and then clambering onto their bodies to take them down with a sword stab to the skull feels just as inventive as it did in 2012. Equally as fun, however, is the act of approaching pint-sized goblins upon a nearby mountaintop and launching them into the sky. Bash. Over and over again. Moments like this are indicative of the silly fun Dragon's Dogma 2 is willing to offer in between its serious storytelling compared to a lot of other high fantasy RPGs. Such creative combat is part of the reason why the first game has deservedly gone on to achieve cult classic status. So refreshing was it to see that my very similar actions were still being rewarded in this sequel over a decade on. Admittedly, the ability to pick up absolutely any NPC and yeet them alongside the shield bash was always going to make this game a winner in my book, just as much as the returning pawn system and core monster climbing mechanic. In my demo, I had the choice of 3 vocations, classes essentially, to test out: Archer, Fighter, and Thief. The latter two warped me to level 15, planting me within the vastness of the open world, while playing as the former started me out much earlier on in the story, where as before a dragon ate my heart to dub me as a mysterious being called the Arisen. Beginning with my experience as the shield bashing fighter first, traversing through the forest on a mission to call monsters instantly felt like second nature. Complete with a party of 3 pawns, each boasting a different vocation, we quickly got to work fighting trolls, bandits, and even managed to take down a griffin at one point by rushing it off a cliff and drowning it in the river. With a full party by my side, it was initially a tad chaotic to try and see where my efforts would best be spent. However, I soon found plenty of use for my flame-imbued sword, deploying weapon skills like airward slash and blink strike, deployed using a short shoulder and face button combo. Dragon's Dogma did a great job back in the day of making its pawns feel like they were actually useful in battle, and the same is true here. Members of your party will call out when enemies are close, try and heal you when you're downed, and just generally support to make this single player title still feel like a team-based experience. This party-centric approach even continued outside of bouts, with pawns offering to guide me in the right direction of the objective whenever they could tell it was unclear of where I needed to go next. In one amazing instance, I opened the door to what I thought was a quaint cottage where an enemy archer quickly poured out. My 3 friends soon made light work of him, with one member taking so much pride in their kill that they high-fived my custom character completely unprompted. It was one of the coolest NPC interactions I've seen in any game for a while, and is hopefully indicative of how much Dragon's Dogma's pawn system has evolved. As a melee specialist, the fighter vocation worked expertly to have me get up close and personal with every towering foe that me and my team came across. That said, I still felt like I stood a chance against them after switching to the lower leveled archer, popping off different types of shots from a distance without fear of running out of arrows, thank god. Holding R2 to climb on foes while keeping grip before my stamina depleted was a thrill that was always maintained, made all the more gratifying as I thrust one of my arrowheads into a troll's oversized shoulder. Even from the short time I got to spend with Dragon's Dogma 2, I could tell that its open world was big. Like, really big. Travelling on foot never grew tiresome though, because there was always a new group of monsters to take down, interesting landmarks to see, and constant commentary provided by my pawns. I did only get to spend an hour with the game though, so as mentioned, here's hoping that Capcom has included plenty of voice dialogue for these interstitial moments where there's a brief lull in the action. We wouldn't want to hear things get repeated too often. If there's one area where I was surprised to not see Capcom innovate in the decade between the first game and its sequel, it's in how you navigate this world. Not having traditional fast travel points or mounts is fine as a way to make you better engage in this admittedly more beautiful world, but I couldn't shake the thought that it was a missed opportunity not to include traversal a la Zelda Breath of the Wild. In a game all about climbing giant creatures and beasts, I was immediately brought down to earth whenever my character constantly bashed into a rock face when searching for a grip. Little drawbacks like this reminded me that Dragon's Dogma 2 very much feels like a sequel to a 10-year-old game, as opposed opposed to a modern action RPG that has taken on the genre's various other innovations on board. I feel a similar way about the custom created character. You're once again thrust into the chosen hero role of an Arisen, but without a proper voice. I just hope that I don't struggle to connect with the overarching narrative when the game fully releases. Luckily, much of this personality once again looks to be provided by the Pawns dialogue, which consists of mostly believable English accents. Nice job, Capcom. It might be that Dragon's Dogma 2 has some surprises up its sleeve that I wasn't able to ascertain from this preview. What it does very well is what it did great in the original, with mechanics like climbing hideous beasts, being able to bounce off of a party of pawns, and an impressive sense of scale, again setting it apart from the slew of other high fantasy action RPGs. Dragon's Dogma 2 appears to be going for a bigger scale again, and so far it seems to be mostly paying off, as evidenced, in case it wasn't already completely clear, by that new weapon skill ability that is the absolutely amazing Shield Bash. So there you have it for my thoughts after roughly getting to spend an hour or so in Dragon's Dogma 2, trying out two of the classes, Fighter and Archer, having a lot of fun in both. Again, I think if you're an existing Dragon's Dogma fan, you're gonna love everything that Capcom is pouring into this sequel. The RE engine is hard at work once again, but there's just a few other little nitpicks that I had that it'd be great to have polished up that, who knows, Capcom might change in time for release. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the Mirror Gaming YouTube channel and leave a like and a comment. How excited are you for Dragon's Dogma 2? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one.